Welcome to the first official The Division live streamed podcast. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
You guys into it? The chat's going hype. I love it. That's freaking
Nice.
cool. So obviously, if you've been paying attention, you will have noticed that the beta dates have been announced. But if you missed it, we have them here. Actually, you might see them behind yourself. There you go.
Voila.
So 28th of this month
What a nice
on
frame.
Xbox, we're starting, and then on PC and PS4 for the first time on the 29th. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fantastic.
today we're going to talk a little bit about the alpha, our experiences with it, because we've kind of been pretty quiet on that front for reasons.
For obvious reasons.
But now we're going to talk about the things we've learned from that, and then we'll talk about what we can expect from the beta, because there's some cool stuff coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really, really cool. Anyway, so I'm Hamish. If you don't know me, you may have heard me on podcasts and things. I'm one of the community developers on the project, but I am joined by three other lovely human beings. Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I'm an associate live producer,
Yes.
and basically making sure everything works well for the players, so they have a good experience. And yeah,
That's important, that things will
that's kind of that's kind of important. That's
I
the
think we
thing.
need
Small
that.
thing, you know.
Yeah, it's that's kind of the biggest thing we need to get right.
Mm-hmm.
And who else do we have here?
Matthias, lead game designer on the Division here at Massive. So I work with all things gameplay and other things as well,
Other things.
closely with the directors of the project and with my team of designers. And the
When you
gameplay
say other
developers.
things, I think you're being a bit elusive. Like,
Oh.
secret things. But that's cool. That's cool. We'll see what we can get out of you today. And Yannick.
Yeah, so I'm Yannick. You may have seen my name already on a few Division articles. I'm a community developer working with Hamish. You have not heard me on podcast.
Not yet.
For obvious reasons.
Soon.
Soon, maybe. Who knows?
My French evil twin.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a lot.
And yeah, basically with the community team, we are like taking care of all things community and making sure also with the team of Kevin that you guys are having a great time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Again, very important that people
Yeah.
actually have a good time as well. And everything surrounding the game. Okay, well, there's a lot of people watching, and eventually people will be listening to this on SoundCloud and
Yeah.
iTunes and that sort of thing. So if you're doing that, then good job. You should be subscribing to those things as well.
Mhm.
But I think we should get started talking about what the technical side of the alpha, right?
Mhm.
Because it was a technical test.
Yeah.
Fair, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of your wheelhouse.
Yeah, right. So the alpha was the first time
Yeah.
we got a chance to put the games in the hands of the players and test our architecture.
Mm-hmm.
That was extremely important for us. We managed to test a lot of things, see how our dedicated servers responds to the loads of players. Yeah, that was pretty exciting, and it went really, really well.
Yes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, on terms of really well,
Ah.
can I kind of put you on the spot?
Yeah, definitely 9. So
9?
we still
Okay,
have
well,
room
yeah.
for
Still not a
improvement.
10.
Exactly.
Still not a 10,
Yeah.
right?
That was a good answer. I like that, because if you say it's a 10, then what are we going to do next, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we got to, that's
That's
why
what-
we're doing more tests. Again,
Mhm.
looking forward to the beta. That's why
Yep.
we got to fix some things. We'll get to that in a little bit. So in terms of, I mean, we were here playing the game. Well, I was playing the game. Matthias was playing the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yannick and you were actually doing important things. But what were some of the things that you guys were testing, more specifically?
So basically, we had the first couple of days letting the players play as the system is made for, no particular test, and then later on we tried redirecting players from group to servers, from server to servers. So basically, we have all the American players playing on the American data center, and at some point we will shut down the data center and see them being rerouted to the European data center. So we can ensure that even if something goes wrong, the players still have the opportunity to have a good experience.
That's really cool. I actually think I remember when you guys were doing that, and we got switched to a different server,
Yeah.
and it was good. Like it still worked, right? Like,
Yeah.
but we still got to keep playing.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
that
and
was
we kept telling the players like, be careful, guys. We're going to be playing around with the server, so you might have like a bit worsened experience. And in the end, everything was going fine. So it's,
Yeah. That's great, and not even bad ping or lag, stuff like that.
yeah,
So
that was cool.
Yeah.
I felt
makes
So
your
wh-
job boring, right?
very happy about that.
ah,
Well, no,
we
boring.
kept ourselves
Like nothing's
busy.
happening, everything's working fine. Let's have a coffee.
the The other thing that we haven't talked too much about it is, and people ask, we get this question all the time, servers. How do we have these all structured, right? I mean, we can, I think, say that we have dedicated servers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we have a lot of servers, and players are connecting to those different servers, are being allocated. If one of those servers goes down, a player is able to reconnect directly to the game, to another server. So it ensures a really good experience.
Yeah.
Of course, the player are spread evenly on the servers, so we avoid having too many of them on one and going overload.
Cool.
So yeah.
That's cool. So it's important for me. I mean, growing up as a gamer in New Zealand, I had a really rough time, right? Like trying to connect all these servers, playing like all these games, it didn't work. But having some options for servers that would actually work for everyone around the world is going to be really, really, really important. What else did we learn from the betas? I mean, you guys pushed the capacity of things. I remember because we had internal objectives, and we won't talk exactly, about those things. But like, I remember we hit them, and we're like, okay, let's see what we can do.
That was actually great. We had some expectation in terms of number of players we could have on the servers, concurrent players, and we actually hit the target much earlier than we expected.
Yeah.
But we felt like everything works fine, so we invited some more players in.
Yeah.
We went a bit beyond. It was really enriching. And we managed to push some servers to their full capacity by closing some others. And we ended up having really good data about what we can support when we launch the game.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm just looking at the chat here. People are very, very happy to see dedicated servers. That's very, very cool.
That's cool.
Nice.
Oh, and shout out to Willis and Eric's and a bunch of people. I saw Marco was in here. He was AFK, so I hope he's made it back. But
He said we should wait for him. So
I know it. Sorry.
we should stop it and start
Sorry,
again.
Marco. We didn't wait. We had to keep going.
Yeah.
We said 4 o'clock. Anyway, so Yana, we wanted to talk a little bit about what you were kind of involved in during the alpha. What was your jam during the time?
So yeah, the thing is, as Kevin said, like this was the first time that the players really got to actually really play the game. I mean, there were like the demos we had at different conventions, but this was a bit different because it was Dark Zone. It was very focused. Here, it was the first time that we would put the actual real game in their hands. So what we wanted to do was use the fact that we were still in the context of the alpha to gather as much feedback as we could from the players and make sure also that we could help them discover the game every day. So basically we organized some kind of feedback threads on the forums with different themes every day, so to help them also kind of influence the way they would play from one day to the other, make sure that they go through the entire content, because you could like run through just the main missions quickly and then think you're actually done when actually there's still so much more to do, even in the alpha. So we wanted to make sure to tell them to test everything and really let us know how that goes. So we had some polls, we had some feedback threads and everything. We're trying to encourage them to give us all the feedback. And then we would compare also all the results we had from these polls and these discussions to actual like in-game data analytics, and that's also your part.
Yeah.
And trying to compare what was the actual, the actual impressions from the players, and then what was the actual game data. And most of the time it like matches, which I think is good because it shows that everything is right. And sometimes there were a few things that were a bit different, so that was also interesting.
What kind of things did you find that would like different?
Like for example, we had this impression, like there was this one weapon that was really kind of OP. I think you were using
the shotgun,
it.
and that's why it was interesting to see Alex and Willis in the chat, because we got that legendary shotgun as soon as we could, because we knew that it was such a beefy weapon, and we made some people. And I feel bad, a bit unhappy. No, but then we kind of converted it into being Dark Zone police, and we kind of were like the good guys as well. Anyway, I'll talk more about that a little bit later.
But that was interesting, because it's just like we would expect that everybody eventually would start using this kind of weapon because it was like, so OP. And in the end, from the polls we got, was like, what's your favorite weapons? Shotgun was actually really low, which was a bit surprising because, that's not what we would have expected. So maybe it's just good. Maybe it means people didn't find out that there was this OP weapon lying there.
It was difficult to acquire.
Yeah, that's true. And spoiler, it's not OP anymore. Or maybe you will talk about that. But I think
blame Matthias.
it's been balanced again. But yeah,
I think the shotgun was an interesting example because it, in terms of how people play the game, we've had a lot of people who have been asking about sniper rifles and that sort of thing for a long time. And if you didn't see it in the alpha, if you weren't lucky enough to play, you would have seen in the recent trailer, which we'll get to in a bit, that we showed scopes and that sort of thing, which is really, really cool. I've been waiting to show people that. But I find that people I've talked to prefer either snipers or assault rifles or pistols. And like shotguns seem to lie in this little mid-ground that people haven't really experimented with, but I think they will.
Yeah, it's not really easy to play with. I mean, I tried to have a shotgun build, and it's like, I mean, it requires a lot of mobility.
It's completely different.
And it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's interesting in some areas, like when it's really enclosed and.
We see it used a lot as a backup primary.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's
Emergency.
some people actually use it as their main gun because they want to get in their clothes, like they use the ballistic shield, etc. But it's pretty common that it's a get out of a tight spot kind of setup as well. Yeah.
But I could see that in the dark zone, you know, when it gets a bit dirty and like you're trying to hide in corners and everything, it might come in really handy then to really surprise people and like.
Yeah, it's good because the damage they do, like up close, is well, it's basically the most damage you can do, right? It gets crazy.
Yeah.
Someone's gaming at heart says love shotguns. Yeah, that's a
Love them
Thank
too.
you.
yes. Oh, but then someone else, run rookie run, saying shotguns are for Neanderthals. I don't know.
Debate.
I don't know. Yeah, feel free to debate that. It is an interesting one. Was there anything else that stood out in the feedback that we got?
Yeah, it was
to you?
interesting. We had a big discussion, and I'm sure that's also something you were looking at a lot, was like the way people would behave in the dark zone. Because, you know, we can theorize as much as we want about the dark zone, and like, yeah, you know, we have this pretty good idea of what we want it to be. But then having actually the players going there and seeing how they would behave, and there was this kind of issue in a way with having like one entrance, and like people would be, you know, camping the entrance and not letting other people come in, and then you would see other players like trying to be, as you said earlier, the dark zone police and trying to help out others. This was really interesting because there was really long and really good discussion on the forums about players' behavior in the dark zone, and how far are we willing to let them go. So this led to further discussions internally as well. So I think this is the kind of feedback that was really, really interesting for us.
Definitely. I think the interesting thing for me, and I use Alex and Willis as an example because I played with them a lot during the alpha, is we all noticed that there was such a difference between player behavior between the first, second, and third day.
Oh yeah, it really evolved. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we've seen, and we've kind of known this for a while because we played internally and that sort of thing. As soon as you start creating player investment in their character, your perspective shifts, right? Like, I don't want to lose my dark zone rank. I don't want to lose this gear.
Which is also why it's been so incredibly valuable to actually get big numbers of real players in the dark zone, because it's tricky to test internally, right? Because
of course, and especially when you do those short scale tests and people aren't invested, they don't really care if they die, right? But on the first day, people were like, dark zone, okay, cool. I'm going to shoot everyone.
That
and they
was Western.
quickly realized it's a kind of not the best way. If you're being really tactical, how to level up your dark zone rank, how to find the best gear.
exactly.
So people shifted towards on the second day hunting down NPCs and playing police, because the reward you got for killing rogue agents was huge, right? So you could very quickly rank up that way. So yes, again, Chromus Z gets it completely. The social experiment of the dark zone. That's what it is. It's a social
But
experiment.
that's the
right?
thing. You see the like this kind of social order that starts to develop, and how people like would cooperate, or like people that would willingly choose to become rogue and then like go against other ones. But you see this kind of real social system that starts to develop, and that was really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, 269 is here as well, who I also played with, and I showed you some of that stuff during that play. So hi.
That was fun.
Hi, Matt. Okay. And so we talked a little bit about how we gathered all the feedback and the things that we noticed. And I guess, Matthias, that's your job, right? Kind of deciphering all this feedback, and how do we get that into the game to make a difference, right? Because that's why we do these tests.
Absolutely.
As fun as they are, right? I mean, I know that like everyone's excited about playing them, but it's really valuable for us on the development side, because that's why we do it, right? Like these are beta and alpha tests. They just happen to be super, super fun, right? So how did you go about kind of...
Well, I think we did three things. We, of course, followed the forums and all the discussions in the community very closely. And we also, of course, played ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
Anonymously, so you wouldn't know who we were. But we
You're not going
played.
to tell us what your screen name was?
Maybe next time.
All right. My one was Super Invented. It's just my name. I mean,
That's
it's,
very discreet.
yeah.
Real gamer here.
I think someone probably was
So
not
if
happy
you
when
guys were playing anonymously, that means that maybe some of the players actually, killed a game designer or something.
Oh yeah,
in the dark
absolutely.
zone without
Very,
knowing.
very
Oh, yeah,
likely,
yeah.
very
I
Like
likely.
you took down the names and like you can take care
We're
of
gonna
them.
get you.
people wrecked me all the time, and I'm sure they had a great time doing it.
I was sitting next to Kevin, and I know that Kevin was always just raging. Sometimes he was playing, and he was like, "Oh, there's this thing happening."
Well, we
and
know
these
that
guys are
Marco
shooting
killed
me."
Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Marco killed
exactly.
Kevin.
Yeah. So, thanks, man. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to Marco at the time, saying, "Okay, this is where Kevin is. You got to go find him." So, anyway, that was really cool. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, but
sidetracked.
yeah.
What did we do? Right.
Sorry.
What did we do from the feedback that Yannick got, and how did we get some changes?
Well, we, of course, we have our idea, our best guess, all the work and thought that's gone into how we want the game to play out, right? So it's a great way of testing those theories by actually letting you guys, real people, playing it.
Yes.
And we also do a lot of data, analysis on the what's the word?
In Swedish? I won't understand. I don't know why I'm asking for the Swedish word, but
And the analytics, like the,
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
okay.
in-game,
Yeah, yeah.
in-game data that we collect from alphas and betas.
Yeah.
And so basically putting all these things together, just being there ourselves, experiencing the game with other players, real people. We're also real people, but looking at the data that we gather and testing it against our own theories of how we want the game to play out and what we expect to see, finding outliers. And reading on the forums and actually listening to what you guys want and what you thought good and bad about it.
yeah, I think the one that springs to mind, and we had discussions about it internally, and we kind of felt similarly, but it was really good to see the feedback. I think it was weapon switching
Yeah, exactly.
was one of those
yeah.
issues that we came up against, and you guys found a fix for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you tested it out, and
Yeah.
what's the current system we have in place for that?
So what we changed to
Yeah.
is that you now just tap Y and you go to your second primary weapon and you
Mhm.
do a double tap to go to your sidearm and then you
Okay.
just tap to go back.
Okay.
Which used to be that you have to hold the Y button to switch between the two primaries. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great example of an actual little tweak to an interaction, a mechanic in the game that we can
Mhm.
get from your feedback. And then of course a lot of balancing and tweaking. We've done since the alpha, we've laid hands on, I would say, every single part of the game, like the enemies, the weapons, the skills, the bonuses and stats from your gear as you level up. Just making sure that we keep a nice, progression in terms of challenge and keep that gear and loot lust up throughout the whole game. Yeah.
I think it was the loot lust thing, like you bring up, was such a big experience for people because they've been watching trailers, right? And you see things and you see loot drop, but that experience you get when you're playing and you see loot drop, that's half of it, right? But when you equip the loot and then see the effects of that loot, that's another whole thing entirely. That really got me going. That was so cool. Yeah,
It's going to be better in the beta.
yeah, I know.
That's the good thing.
Because
Everything's
there's so much
Everything's
stuff,
better.
even with like skill mods. I mean weapon mods. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I think Zero Reloaded brings up an interesting point. Please add proximity chat. We did.
We did.
we did.
Yes.
It's in there. So for the beta, and we'll get to talking more about the beta in a little bit, but just jumping the gun a tiny bit. Proximity chat will be on PC and PS4. We're still working on getting it into the Xbox build, but it will be there later on. But yes, PC and PS4 players will be able to experience the madness of proximity voice chat.
It's
But
freaking
it's
cool.
so
the dark
cool.
zone,
Which is
just so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And people's reaction to that is, oh my god, what? Yes, okay, people are freaking out. That's so cool. They're very, very happy.
And I think we had the creative director sneaking behind people and
Yeah.
screaming or something, scaring them.
So yeah, I
That's some
remember having
good,
so many
stories.
conversations
Yeah,
about
right.
proximity voice
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
with Magnus Jensen, our creative director. He is all over that. He was like, yes, We need this. It's so cool.
But this was such an important feedback, and starting from E3 already, when like people got to play, and that was one of the questions we had so many times. Like when you start talking about the fantasy of the dark zone and everything, it's like many people were asking, do we have proximity chat? And that was something that was discussed already within the team. And then we noticed that this was really something that needed to be in there, and it completely changes the way you approach.
It really adds another dimension to that whole experience. Just thinking about what you say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to the all those things that people can expect very soon. Not just yet. We still have some other stuff to get through. I want to, for people who didn't have a chance yet to see the trailer that came out a few nights ago, I think it's a cool thing to show as well. So we'll get into that in just a second. There's some really, really cool things in there that I brought up before. The first time we've seen sniper scopes. And there's a lot of stuff. Anyway, sorry. I'm really sorry. But we'll be back really soon after this trailer. There's a lot of cool stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for some really cool things. Okay.
When you first joined the Division, what were you expecting? I'm sure they told you about the sacrifices you'd make. Things you might have to do one day. But none of us could have ever predicted this. Now, if there's any chance of putting the pieces of our city back together, then this is all up to you. When we first arrived, this place was destroyed. But over time, we can make it our home. From here, we launch countless missions across the city in search of others. Doctors, former cops, engineers, people who can help us rebuild the world. Out there, you'll need all your training and equipment. With every battle won, you'll become stronger.
Come on! Come at me!
With every challenge met, you will gain power. But spend enough time on your own, and you'll understand the truth. You will die alone if we don't stand together. Other agents have set up safe houses throughout the city. You'll need to team up with them and work together. We have to rely on each other's strengths to save what remains and give New York a fighting chance at something we thought was lost. Hope. We need to work together and combine our skills. We each have a role to play in this fight. You are here for a reason. Make no mistake. We are taking this city back. And on your journey, you will find a place beyond those walls. A dark zone where greed and fear corrupts, and no one can be trusted. This fight is only the beginning.
All right, if you're just joining us, you've just seen a trailer, hopefully. But we've been talking about, in our first The Division podcast live on Twitch, which is a lot of fun, about the beta and the alpha and all these sorts of things. You will see the beta dates up behind us if you haven't seen them yet. 28th on Xbox One, we're starting. 29th on PS4 and PC. which is super cool. Very, 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 very excited. And Mulehorn Gaming says my pants just flew off. All right, come on, man. This is a family show.
Keep it together.
Before we get into talking about the beta that's coming up, we learned a lot from the alpha, right? And I know you had some really cool things that on the game design side and experiences that you guys learned from.
Yeah, I mean, since we were actively playing the game, just as any other player in there, I think my biggest takeaway was like, wow, yeah, nice, it actually works. Everything works. The social experiment that was the Dark Zone that you talked about. We saw that actually play out how we imagine it, and how we saw the population of players actually evolve their behavior as as we talked about before the break. Super cool. And just going in there, I remember the first day of the alpha, we went actually to my place at home. First time I played the game in a home setting.
It feels different.
Yeah,
right?
it's just so
whoa,
cool. Right?
I'm not at my desk.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually at home playing.
So
It's
that alone was
strange.
amazing. So it was me, a couple of guys from my team. We had some beers, booted up. I was playing. They were just kind of backseating.
Was Drew with you?
Yeah,
I
Drew
think?
was with me.
Yeah. So Drew, who people will have, if they've been listening to the podcasts, you will have heard Drew's voice as well. And actually, he's in some videos. So.
Yeah, I'm Pierre, and one of the guys is like super into the competitive gaming in general and PvP and stuff. So he was just like on the edge the whole time, like, "Come on, Matthias, shoot someone, shoot someone." And I was just going like, "No, relax, man. I want to try this out." And we came up to this extraction area. Where a group of players were already extracting, and they were aiming at us. So I went up and was like, "Okay, I surrender, take it easy." And we had this really tense moment. And you can see Pierre, it's Pierre, okay, I blew it, it was Pierre.
Spoilers.
He's like almost physically shaking next to me. He was like, "But shoot!" And he just slams my controller. And he accidentally fires off a sticky bomb. And so we end up betraying these guys, basically.
Wasn't your choice, though.
No, but it wasn't my
Recovered by-
choice.
Okay.
But it was just fun. The type of fun, like it was social fun at home, but also the interaction with that group of players in the game.
Yeah, it was
So-
so cool. I mentioned it before. Alex 269 and Willis, some of the guys I played with from the UK, we like jumped to the groups and we spent a lot of time in the Dark Zone. These guys were all about it, right? And we did Madison Square Garden quite a bit, which was fun, and also did it on hard mode and that sort of thing. But we got into the Dark Zone, and I say we got our legendary shotguns eventually. But there was this one time. Being underground, and then we came up, but we ended up being rogue level 5. Actually, we didn't start it. It was kind of by accident, right? But we became rogue, and then
Always an accident.
I know. Then you have to defend yourself or run away.
You
and
became a manhunt, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then we got to like the manhunt stage, and we went to the top corner of the Dark Zone and backed ourselves into a corner, and like it was I think the most intense 5 minutes of gaming I've had like in a long time, and I was doing nothing. I was just like just looking, and we were just talking the whole time and being like, oh my god, someone's gonna come. But that was so cool, and like you say, it just worked.
Yeah.
Like
And also just running up matchmaking to the main mission.
yeah,
And
exactly.
just dropping in, playing with another group of players, and them leading on, and it was great.
That was super cool because I mean we spend so much time here playing versions of the game where we're testing very specific things, right? And so to be able to play a bigger chunk of a whole experience was just really refreshing, I think, especially when you get to play it at home and that sort of thing. Did you have a chance to play at all, Kevin? Or I mean, you
Not at
were
all.
the server master, so
I've been spending a lot of time here, but I got chance to play as well.
okay.
We had some pretty good stuff going on with some friends who were playing at home. We had some kind of situation like that, going to this extraction point on top of a building.
That
And
was
like
cool.
we arrived, we were 4, and then another group of 4 arrives. Everybody goes like, "Yeah, it's okay. Let's play it friendly."
We're
And
all friends.
Is it okay?
I call for an extraction. Another group of 2 players, I think, arrives, and another solo. We were like, 12 people on the roof. It was tense, but everybody started doing jumping jacks.
Yeah.
And, super cool, super
Right.
friendly.
But
It
that's the
was
thing,
almost
like,
a party.
Because I think before people had experienced the Dark Zone, they would have thought, if people find me at the extraction point, I'm a goner, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a fight, that's it. But the amount of people who were well behaved, they were like, I'm next in line, my turn.
But that's where it gets interesting, right? Because the extraction arrived, the rope arrived, I attached my loot, and I'm like with my friend, should we go put a bit of mess into that. And I see another guy going, and I'm like, I shoot the sticky bomb. Everything exploded, a lot of smoke grenades and stuff. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I think I've been the only one extracting, actually. It was a horrible mess for the other people. It was brilliant. It was genius.
But a beautiful mess.
Yeah.
A beautiful, fun mess.
The beauty of it, how quickly it can go from serene, tense to just complete.
And
all out action,
the music emphasizes that. It's really
the
good.
music, and also the thing that we talked about when we were playing in there was the weather, because we had like a lot of the time on the server that we were on, a lot of super late night, dense fog, and that the volumetric effects you get with the lights and like your visibility being affected. It was super cool. And I know I sound like a fanboy because I am, like, but. It's legit. I had so much fun.
Yeah,
like
and the snowstorm in the dark zone.
Oh
makes
my god!
It all.
Yeah. It's very cool. And you played a little bit, but
Yeah,
you
just a
again
bit,
were very, very busy.
Yeah, I played a bit, but yeah, I didn't get to go to the dark zone actually, but I played a lot of like the open world aspect also, explored and find a lot of collectibles and everything, and I really had a great time also doing that. That's not as much of an exciting story as your story, guys, but yeah, I was just like, walking around, going into buildings and finding like this bedroom here where there's a collectible in there, and then you hear the story, which is because it's all voiced and everything I really had fun doing that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So looking forward, like I said just a second ago, which if you were watching, you should have. If you weren't watching, shame on you, right? why aren't you following the channel, and why haven't you set it so you get a notification when we go live? You could have avoided this whole mess. You could have been here and, for now, half an hour, you could have been listening to us, which is a good idea, I think. But looking forward, we have the beta coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to be fresh because it's people haven't seen it, right? Well, some people who are lucky enough to get into the alpha, but there's going to be a lot more visibility for this beta. And there's also some new things that obviously we learned things like you talked about the weapon selection. What other new things have we got coming up for this beta? Obviously the platforms, right?
Yeah,
PC
platforms,
and PS4.
the balancing. Of course, we revamped the balancing for the entire game. This is not the entire game, but it's still going to be in there. We're adding a gate, right? I think
to the dark zone.
To the dark zone, yeah. And of course, in the full game, there's going to be many of those. So that's going to be an absolutely new element to it.
It'll be interesting to see how people use multiple entrances.
Exactly.
Like you said, there's going to be a lot in the full release, but having more than one is going to be a different experience for people.
Yeah, it's really going to be different from the alpha where you just had one, and then like you had all this camping situation, and here it's going to be like you're going to have this alternative. Okay, do I go for this one or that one, and see how people are going to use it? I think. Yeah.
We also done some minor tweaks in there, like we shortened the extraction time a little bit.
Okay, so what's the extraction time now? Do you have specific numbers?
I
okay,
actually
I'm
remember
not
now
gonna
when you
put
put
you
it
on
on
the spot.
spot.
Okay.
But it used to be a minute and a half, I think, and it's shorter now.
Okay.
So we also added for the max level you will be able to reach in the beta. There will be a max level, not max level for the game, but for the beta bracket in the dark zone.
Okay, so max level is still 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you phase into the dark zone, when you go into the dark zone, there'll be a new max level
exactly.
experience.
So you'll only be seeing and playing with people that are also 8, and the enemies will be a bit harder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And on that
That's
topic,
really
we're
cool.
also adding landmarks in the dark zone.
Okay. Tell me a bit about landmarks.
Landmarks are these. You're gonna discover them on proximity when you're walking around in there.
Okay.
You're gonna say, "Oh, landmark discovered," and on your map, then if you just bring up your map, you'll see an area marked. I think it's a little looking glass in blue, which is typically really cool locations, but also a predictable location for tough enemies. So it's like, okay, if I want good items, I know I can go to landmark, and it's very likely that I'll find enemies there that I can fight, get good stuff, which is of course the same for all players. It becomes a natural watering hole.
Yeah.
And if I know there's good loot there, someone's going to want that. So that's going to be all right.
And so it's the same question. What do you do when you meet the other players?
What do you do?
Up to you.
So that'll be interesting to see. That's gonna be very cool. And we talked a bit about proximity VoIP before. We were kind of spoiler. But if you weren't here, proximity VoIP good to go. Good to go on PC and PS4 right now. Still working on getting it into Xbox, but it's going to be really, really cool to see what people do with that.
Yeah.
I think was it you? I think Yannick, you were telling me the other day that Kevin was playing, and
I was
someone, and you
testing.
heard some people.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was testing the beta actually,
Yeah.
just to see how it worked. And I entered the dark zone. I'm alone, and I'm expecting to be alone because
Yeah.
it's
Who's
not
on the
public.
server? You
Yeah,
didn't,
exactly.
we're just playing at work.
And I start hearing those people talking, and I don't understand anything because they weren't from here. And I see one plane passing by, and 2 players, and then a group of 4. I'm like, I'm gonna follow them, and we go in the underground. And they get some loot, they go out. I follow them, they call an extraction, and then I show up, and they are like, the 4 of them looking at me. Oh, damn. I hide, and I can hear them laughing, and they hunted me down. That was pretty good.
Liquid Gotti is asking, no proximity for Xbox One, just not for this beta. There will be proximity on all platforms. Proximity VoIP will be everywhere.
Yeah.
But since that's something new, based on players begging for it for such a long time, and we want it too, it's something that we're getting in there to make everyone happy, including ourselves, because it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we can expect from this beta? I mean, we on the community side have some things.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be we're gonna have beta forums, obviously, because we still want to encourage people to have discussions and everything. So we'll be opening brand new beta forums for that. What we're going to bring in is also some in-game events because we want people to have new things to do every day. So we're going to be having fun, giving some kind of objectives to the community. Yeah, that's going to be really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And yeah, also the big thing about this beta compared to the alpha is that we will not have an NDA. So we expect a lot of content created from the community and a lot of live streams, a lot at videos. So we'll be looking at that a lot.
Someone was just asking about that.
Yeah, I mean, many people have been asking since we announced the date earlier today, and yeah, I think we can say it. Yes, no NDA.
No NDA. So this, go look on all your favorite streamers. If they're not planning on streaming it because they don't know, go and tell them. Yeah. Because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to do.
And it's actually amazing to watch another player playing in the dark zone.
Yeah.
We're rooting for him, and
exactly. Yeah.
It's a real story.
Yeah.
Exactly. And on that side, we obviously have been testing our first live stream today.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's working. I mean, I'm seeing the chat and they're saying this. It seems
I hope
to be
people
working,
can hear us,
which is really, really cool. We'll be streaming a lot from the studio. I won't tell you exactly what it'll be. We've got a lot of cool content planned.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to see us playing the game. We'll have other cool content. Anyway, no spoilers right now. But again, follow if you want to see that stuff because we aren't a channel that you can subscribe to. That's not something that we're doing with this, but the best way that you can express that you want to see content from us on this channel is that you follow and say please, because that's what we need.
Give us more.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's absolutely what we need. But yes, that's going to be my big focus personally for the beta.
You're going to see a lot of Hamish.
Well, and you.
Yeah, me a bit, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I've convinced you. We still need to see if we can get Antoine on. And someone was asking earlier, why isn't Antoine on the stream?
Yeah.
Come on, man. No, Antoine's like a mythical being that no one can touch.
Yeah.
He doesn't really exist, but maybe one day.
He was
we
in a
can.
live stream at E3, though.
I
I
know.
managed to trick him.
We had to trick him.
Yeah,
we were
you
like,
trick him
it's
into-
finished, man. It's finished. It's finished. And then it came out. That was really cool. All right, access to the beta. If you don't have it yet, how can people go about getting access to the beta?
So basically, we have guaranteed access for all the pre-orders.
Yeah.
So if you pre-order the game, you're gonna get a key for playing.
Cool.
Even if you pre-order after the beta start, we will still be sending keys on the fly to all the players.
They're guaranteed?
So that's
guaranteed?
Guaranteed access.
Okay.
You get in immediately.
Okay, that's cool. I just don't want people buying it and being like, Kevin told me I was going to get in. Kevin said I get a key.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it doesn't work. But no, yes.
Yes,
So anyone who
they will
pre-orders
get
will get in with their key that they get. Okay.
Yes.
Very, very, very cool. And then people who had alpha access, what happens to those people?
So we want to re-invite all the players from the alpha to thank them for their dedication. And also we'll take players on the waiting list by order of registration, of
Okay,
course, to thank our most dedicated players.
Perfect. All right, I would like to extend the invite again to Alex, Willis Gaming, and 269 again. Please carry me, because they're far better at this game than I am. Controllers, although the problem is I've gotten so used to the controller now that now when I play a lot of PC games, and now when I go back to mouse and keyboard, I'm like, oh, this feels strange with our game, but it won't feel strange. I just need to get back to it.
You need to get
Because
back.
It's actually really cool.
But
Yeah,
you should,
no,
you should be better than them. You played it more than they did.
Well, the thing is, like, people think we get to play the game here all day, but we don't. Like,
We
I'd
didn't
love
get
to.
that much chance.
I played a lot, and I got a lot better over the alpha. But these guys, well, Alex plays a lot of console
just
games.
better
And
gamers.
he says, "I got you, homie." Yeah. Thanks, man. Okay. Anything else before we head off that we need to get to? I don't think so. I think that's kind of covers most of it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, super excited to.
Said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
to-
exactly. Have a look at the beta dates if you haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Again, follow us here. Follow us on SoundCloud. Subscribe on iTunes. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on all the places. And we'll see a lot more stuff during the beta, during those dates. But right now, a big curtain should be opening as well. We've had a lot of people in Malmö who are writing a lot of articles, and it's after 4 o'clock. So if you use Google and look on your favorite
nice.
websites and
Yeah,
that sort of thing, there's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff. I mean, it's gone live since we've been here, so I'm going to go do the same thing
Yeah.
to see what people are saying.
There should be a lot of
Exciting.
articles, a lot of videos, a lot of new things to
Yeah, a
check
lot
out. So
of
yeah,
new things.
a lot of information coming your way, guys.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited. Actually, we should end this so I can go, so I can go see what happened. Anyway,
Drop the mic.
thanks again. We're gonna turn this off, and we'll see you again next time. All right?
In the beta.
Please do come back. Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.